the only witness to testify against Faison.
That is what's inside. Her message.
Suge Knight flew in on a red-eye from L.A.
Yeah.
And was a little late, so they're going to come tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Suge is.
Good.
So Suge will be on a 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. The great Suge Knight.
His honor.
Yeah, my daddy. The next governor of California.
Yeah, the honorable.
The Honorable Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Have you no dignity?
Suge is my man. Yeah, of course I do. I happen to like him, that's all. But anyway, Suge and I might as well be homeboys.
How so?
I'm one of the few white people who's ever actually been to the Club California. It's probably not even in existence anymore. There in Los Angeles. In fact, I won a talent show there 35 years ago.
I think the Club California and the Cotton Club have gone the way of...
I was there with Johnny Otis. Johnny Otis is white, by the way. So there's 2 white people there, me and Johnny Otis, but Johnny Otis was part of the black community. And H.B. Barnum, the great, remember H.B. Barnum, the great director, the great arranger and
Sure.
musician?
Great circus?
No.
Yeah.
No, stupid.
No.
Trapeze acts?
Bardu Ally, all them people. Dootsy Williams.
Dootsy. Sure.
You remember Dootsy Williams, don't
Everybody remembers
Never heard of
Dootsy
him.
Williams.
you? Dootsy Williams was
Come on.
founded Dutone Records.
Absolutely.
Duto Records, which was Red Fox's label,
Mm-hmm.
and was the label of the Penguins, Earth Angel.
Yep.
In fact, I was the only white artist ever signed to Duto Records.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
And I remember one time I was going to meet with the Penguins about something, and I was there. Duto's record company location was in the Watts section of Los Angeles, and so I went out there to meet with them. And they had a waiting room, and a window looked out to the street.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I think Fred was with me, might have been. I was sitting there waiting to talk to Dootsy or somebody. Now waiting for the Penguins to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Cleve Duncan, the Penguins. I mean, that's Earth Angel sold 13 million records.
Absolutely.
And a city bus pulls up,
Yeah.
and they got off the city bus.
The Penguins waddled off the bus.
After having sold 13 million records, and that opened my eyes to the record business in 1963.
Something ain't adding up here.
Yeah.
What? You got something against record producers making money?
No, I'm just saying, the record companies aren't paying people, man. And then I was signed with some labels that were just, man, Challenge Records and RV. And I never got hooked up with Roulette, thankfully, but man, there was some
Roulette.
there was some bandits of Morris Levy in that bunch.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jesus. Man, that was. So anyway, and the quest continues. But Suge Knight has straightened all that out. Suge's paying the brothers.
She does.
So.
Honesty and integrity.
Well, you have to say about Suge Knight, at least Suge makes the artists aware of what they should get. Whether he gives it to them or not is another issue. He probably does, but at least he's up front about what they should be getting. So if he says this is what you should be getting, you shouldn't be giving your publishing and all that stuff away to people. Get ripped off like that for all the money is anyway, because the record companies are never going to pay you. And ASCAP and BMI, they will pay you. So that's where so you got to get airplay. So,
but here's a reasonable amount that you should be expecting.
Yeah, a lot of these record companies don't even tell these kids what they should get, so they don't know what they should get. So that's.
Now you're swallowing.
It's disgusting.
Well, no, I'm not swallowing. No,
Well, spit it out at least.
In our initial interview with Suge Knight, didn't he point all that out? Of course he did.
Yeah.
So it's why does it make me Suge's bitch to point that out? Oh no, why does it though? I don't like your attitude. I'll come in there and pistol whip you.
Charles, will you wheel him in here so he can do that?
Oh my God!
Don't get it.
You
make sure he puts 2 condoms
you
on,
do
right?
not. No, but I mean,
it's gonna hurt.
Jesus.
Get some grease while you're at it.
If I'd have been in prison with Suge, he'd have been doing my laundry. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So Suge tomorrow. Well, first of all, Suge shouldn't be flying commercial anyway. That doesn't look good.
Red Eye?
Red eye? You don't fly no red eye.
Suge Knight.
You have a plane, you leave when you want to leave.
You are an impresario.
G5.
I mean, he should be on a G4 or G5, one of them.
Certainly.
Or get one of them citation jets, he'd be here in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Let's hope he wasn't flying commercial.
That's not good, is it?
No.
You go through with no metal detector and all
I
that.
don't think Pete Diddy's, waiting in line at American Airlines, getting frisked.
Well, speaking of swallowing, you might as well be J-Lo to P. Diddy.
No, I'm just saying.
He is a punk ass bitch.
No doubt. But at least
And
he's
a
flying
rat.
in a G5.
And he's a rat on top of everything else. He's
a rat, and he shot a black woman's eye out.
Yeah, he's a rat. He's the worst kind of rat. Oh,
Worse than Dre?
yes.
Man.
Dre's, he's just trying to take care of his boy from Chippendales. Buy him a new Lexus.
That's what Suge's going to be doing for you. Buy you a new
I got
watch.
more money than Suge. So, anyway, well, Suge Knight tomorrow.
We're going to have Johnny Mathis music playing in the background while you interview Suge.
Shut up.
Corporate meeting or a special event on?
20 miles. It's amazing. We're up a mile high. Today, the Northern Alliance held a great military parade here in Jabal Sarraj. And then came the military commander of the Northern Alliance. His name is Mohammed Fahim. Now, we've never seen him before. This is the guy who's in charge of all the 15,000 Northern Alliance troops. He's a young guy, probably about 35, really beefy. One of only 2 fat people I've ever seen in Afghanistan. He's getting a lot of food and a lot of money from somewhere. Imus in the morning.
Tom Aspel in Afghanistan. I love this guy.
All right. Doing fat jokes from Afghanistan.
No, that's the way you're supposed to report from Afghanistan, isn't it?
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Words I got for you, man.
You know.
Your boy Suge Knight, for as big as he is and tough as he is and all his bodyguards and all his jail time, didn't want to deal with Big Sid on the Imus show, and he punked out. And it's pathetic. Because he knows he comes in here, he's going to get a little P. Diddy spanking, so he punked out. It's all right. It's all right. It just confirmed it even more for me now that I'm not going to miss a minute of the American Music Awards tonight. I'm going to tape it and show it how great P. Diddy is, the all-time great. And there was Suge Knight, had his chance to come on and tell me, and just left. Just left. Very disappointing, man. Very disappointing. Coming back tomorrow because he knows Warner's here, and Warner's not going to say a word to him.
Guess what?
Warner doesn't even know anything about rap music.
I have arranged for you to work tomorrow.
Oh.
What great is this? You'll actually get to tell Suge Knight this to his face.
Yeah, I was
Won't
hoping
that be great?
I was hoping I would.
This will be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get right up in Suge Knight's face.
Right up there, right in
You
that
can
grill.
call Suge a big old bitch.
Well, all I'm going to say is he punked out.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious. I think Bernard agrees with me. Bernard, did he punk out?
Oh, no, he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to be here in the morning.
No, Suge Knight.
Oh, you guys.
Well, here's the only bad thing about Suge Knight.
You guys are all disappointing me at this point.
I am disappointed in this aspect of Suge Knight. The fact that he doesn't even know Richard Santulli or John Colucci.
He doesn't know either one of those guys?
No. And he's not
What he said.
and he's not
That's
on
pretty pathetic, I got to say.
he doesn't have his own plane.
Everybody knows Richie Colucci.
I mean-
Everybody knows Richie Colucci.
I mean, you have That's Richard Santulli.
Yes.
Richie Colucci.
You gotta be flying on a G4, G5
That's the guy said it was
citation,
funny.
something. You gotta have your own plane.
I meant, Suge was standby.
I mean, you can't.
On the red eye.
You can't be standby in a red eye and be Suge Knight, can you?
No, taking your shoes off for the radar.
Yeah, exactly.
$5 an hour hamburger.
P.
flipping
Diddy
thing.
walks in, he buys the airline if he has to. That's what he does to make sure he's taken care of. That's the difference between a mega superstar, P. Diddy, and a punk, Suge.
Oh, no, I think you're going too
Now
far.
I think we might want to reconsider our
I
position.
mean, because I'll make arrangements for you to be here tomorrow. And
That's
Suge
fine
Knight
with
will
me.
squeeze you like the ant you are.
No, because he'll admit, he'll come in and say it was a week that I didn't show up yesterday to see Big Sid on the Imus show. Week. W-E-E-K. Week.
That would be, well, you've been going to it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Do you have any sports?
Yeah, Juan Gonzalez is on the Rangers. Knicks lost last night, and Jim Moore got fired. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
How about that Breen
That's all
call?
I got for you. You want the Breen call? I got the Breen call for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, let's listen back to the happy recap. Last night, the Knickerbockers lost. I think somebody may have taken them out. They took my Breen call off, man.
Good preparation.
Well, I had it here, but somebody played with the computer, obviously. Oh, it was Cannell. Cannell was in here playing with the computer.
Too busy putting down a black man.
Yeah, too busy.
Sportscast ready.
Too busy running your fat mouth.
Ah, come on now.
And when you were revealed. Here's the one thing I would point out about Suge Knight and some of his people
What's that?
is, and you know how a lot of people have a good sense of humor about stuff?
No. No, I don't know that.
Well, they do.
Okay.
A lot of people
I
do.
mean, you do.
I don't think he does.
You don't think he does?
I don't think.
Sort of like Joe Benigno.
I think there are certain things you can say to
Yeah.
Suge he might think are amusing, but I think there are other things that you'd be better off not saying to him.
Like what? What would be an
Well,
example?
almost anything.
of
I mean, I don't think I'd have in the same paragraph
Right.
the word punk,
And-
punk out, and
Suge.
Suge.
Right. Well, I'm just calling it like it is.
Well, I think
That's my job as your sports guy on your show. Like Howard Cosell would say, I tell it like it is.
he might just swat you aside like the gnat that you are, because
I think that you underestimate my intimidation factor on certain people.
right.
I don't know why you do that, but if you notice, Goofy was in here. He didn't mess with me.
Oh, Goofy's a chump.
Well, but Goofy's a professional boxer.
Yeah, but Sugar's not a chump.
No, I'm not saying he's a chump. All I'm saying is he had the chance to come in today and speak up his mind. I've been on P. Diddy all morning long, and he punked out. That's just the way. There's no other way to put it. I mean, I can't be nicer about it. That's what the guy did.
We gave him he was willing to come in.
No, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. I heard that he...
Well, would you like me to tell you what happened?
Well, tell me what happened. Yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, Kara talked to him and said it would be better for us if you came back tomorrow.
Why?
What?
Why? Why is it better if he comes back tomorrow?
Well, because the show's over now.
Oh.
It'll be over in 15 minutes.
Oh, so you want them to come back tomorrow, like in the
7 o'clock hour.
I got you. Okay, well, that actually does make sense.
Yeah. So this had nothing to do with Suge not wanting to come in.
Okay.
And they agreed.
Well, he simply acquiesced.
Well,
he
I don't know.
agreed
Quickly.
to come in tomorrow.
I think
That's
this
all.
story just now proves two things to me. A, you are a programming genius, man, and
Oh,
Suge
yeah.
is still punking
my
out.
God.
That's it. Those are the two things.
Sugar's going to squeeze your head like the grape.
I'm not going to be here. One of us going to be here tomorrow.
No, I want to make arrangements for you to work here. I want to see if you're man enough to
Man
say
enough.
these things to Suge Knight without yucking it up and doing that white boy jive where you're talking about,
Yeah?
oh, yeah, I'm just kidding
What
around.
happened, what happened when Terry Bradshaw came in here? Did I not go up to him and tell him how I felt? Did I not do that? And his redneck partner in here who races cars? That guy? What was his name? Allison? Or Nemechek or something?
No,
What was the guy he brought with him?
One of
Strickland?
Earnhardt's kids.
Yeah, that guy, right. He was...
Yeah.
Nobody. Either way, did I go up to Bradshaw? I have not once on this
No,
program
you know,
I've been backed out.
but you were yucking it up and shucking and jiving.
I was not.
No, you weren't in his face.
No, listen,
You punked out then.
I don't think I did at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Certainly drawing in.
Yeah, you made it clear to Terry Bradshaw that you were kidding
No,
around.
I did not.
Didn't he, Bernie?
No, I didn't. I was not kidding around at all.
No, it wasn't a serious thing.
No. In other words, he
Of
knew
course
you
he
weren't
He
serious.
did say he was a punk to his face.
I didn't. Terry,
For what he said about Boomer.
right.
But it was in a jovial.
Yeah, it wasn't. You. In other words, you didn't call into question his manhood.
I did, but Terry is
by
such
making
a
an
jokester.
accusation in which he would have to. He would
No.
either have to deal with you, or either take you down then, or laugh it off, and you gave him the opportunity, and you made it easy for him to laugh it off.
I don't think I did. I'm telling you right now, man, I'm here tomorrow morning, and I tell Suge right to his face.
Why don't you just come in early? You hang around the radio station all the time anyway.
Well, no, because Warner gets all upset.
Well, no, Warner will be fine. Warner does right.
I don't like to do that. No, well, I'm sorry. I don't like to do that.
You're punking out now.
Now you're punking out.
I'm biting at somebody else.
Now you have revealed yourself to be the punk you are.
Well, you know what? I'll show up early then. What time are we here? Okay,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. I mean, that's still 3 hours before it's supposed to be on the air. You know that.
Oh, you'll be here
So
anyway.
whatever.
If I'm here 3 hours before and I get in Suge's face and tell him that P. Diddy is the only guy in the business that matters, what does that say?
Well,
Then what are you going to say?
We'll see.
I'm going to say, you know, that
You're crazy.
services for Sid will be held, yada, yada.
Exactly.
I'm ducking when he says that.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Make sure you bring in some sesame bagels.
All right. Well, that's what's going to happen. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, I will be here to confront
Diddy.
one Suge
That's
Knight.
embarrassing.
Why is it embarrassing?
Because he's a rat,
Hey, I'm
no
it.
talent schmuck.
How come Suge Knight's not hosting the American Music Awards tonight?
Because he doesn't do that kind of thing.
No,
Not even
It's
gonna
not
be
his
there.
deal.
You know why? Because, like Warner would say, he's a nobody. That's why.
not his. That's not his thing.
He's a nobody. He's a
Oh,
nobody.
well.
At this point,
Oh,
he's
my
an ex-con that used to hang out with people who were talented that are hosting award shows like P. Diddy tonight. That's all he is.
Oh,
He happened to be in the same
are-
car
you're
and
a
get grazed
fool.
by a bullet. That was a tough guy. I'll give him that. But that's all he is at this point. He's a nobody.
Well,
He's nothing.
all right.
He's
Wow,
done.
when he's
It
done
is
with you,
over.
you'll be nobody.
It is
No,
over.
and you're gonna be
He's
dead.
Diddy.
Francis dribbles behind the back. Francis to the right. Down the lane. Kicks it out. Norris. Norris at the buzzer. It's good. At the buzzer. Moochie Norris knocks it down. And the Knicks lose a heartbreaker in the final seconds.
Oh, look here.
What's that?
You just be ashamed of yourself.
Why?
Calling people ugly.
I didn't call you ugly.
What did you say?
I said you was ruined. That's all.
You know something?
What?
You look like you've been whooped with an ugly stick.
Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with it, but I believe you're feeling right.
Imus in the morning.
Land O'Lakes, Del.
66-66 spit a bunch in. Gary Carter, who just missed entering the Hall of Fame, will join us at 12:05. Mac and Sid till 1.
It's an NFL wild card weekend on the Fan. Saturday, listen to the Eagles and Bucks at 4:15. Sunday, it's the 49ers and Packers at 12:15, followed by the Ravens and Dolphins at 3:45. The NFL playoffs, right through Super Bowl 36, here on Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
Terrorists, anthrax, recession, war. It's no...
4,200. If someone tries to tell you that American products are second best, they obviously haven't tried my Auric XL.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN, New York.
Sneaking up on noon here on the...
Let's see if we can have some changes over there. Don't book yourself on this program knowing what the rules are. Just if you intend to go on the Today Show, just take a pass. You don't have to. You don't have to be on here. The book is awful anyway. It's a terrible book. It couldn't be worse. It's a dumb title, a hideous cover, stupid. It's just you can't.
A mishmash of drivel.
Yes, and then here's Carville wrote a book about loyalty, about sticking, and has revealed himself to be just like the guy they work for, Bill Clinton. Both of them just mealy-mouthed, double-crossing, backstabbing, disloyal, dishonest scum.
That should be the title of his next book. Stabbing.
Yeah, stabbing. Two backstabbing scum. Carville and Bagala. Bagala, we know's a weasel. I mean, you know he's a weasel. So he's willing to do anything. I mean, how the guy gets up and how he was able to look in the mirror long enough to shave that stupid beard is worthy of an Enron-like investigation. Carville, you have a little more respect for, but neither one of them now. They both suck.
Weasels.
Weasels, so they're canceled.
Weasel 1, Weasel 2.
He doesn't need that. It's 7 after the hour here in the Imus Morning program. We'll talk with Congressman J.C. Watts coming up. And then we'll talk with Phil Simms, although why we're having Phil Simms on is beyond me because he doesn't know anything about football or anything else for that matter.
What do you mean?
Well, listen to this tape. Play this, Lou. Well, let me just say this. I I guarantee
Here we go.
that Miami will win. So.
Will they cover? Will they win by more than 8?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh.
Factor that in. I don't gamble.
Well, I'm not going to guarantee Nebraska's going to win. I'm just looking for the upset.
Well, it's not going to happen. So.
All right, big boy.
You'll be wrong again.
We'll find out. You know, I love this. I hear how you pick all these games right, and everybody says that I don't pick them right.
You don't. You were only right when you were playing. Thank God. Well. So he had no idea what he was talking about either.
Apparently not. So-called football expert.
Yeah. Thinking Nebraska was going to beat Miami in the Rose Bowl. Huh? What happened?
Well, we know what happened.
Well, maybe Suge was up late settling all these scores he was going to settle.
No, he wasn't. All the scores he was supposed to settle were they were all out in L.A. dance, shaking their booty on stage.
They were there after
for America.
And by the way, Puffy went out of his way to introduce Snoop in the audience. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, say yeah, Snoop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It got him to stand up.
Oh yeah.
And identify little Bow Wow as being there.
Sitting in the front row. Bow Wow was on stage at one point. Yep.
That's not good, is it?
I don't know. It's a little emasculating for Mr. Knight. What's up with that?
Man, I think if you're, I mean, I think you can say, well, we're moving on to greater things and all that, but I think at some point, you're either a man or you're not.
When you've been dissed.
Well, you've been getting dissed like that by some little panty-wearing sissy boy like P. Diddy sticking it to you there. I mean, that's not good, is it?
Sticking it to you right there. I mean, by implication, of course.
Yeah. On network TV.
Oh, huge. The AMA Awards.
Oh,
Come
man,
on.
that is awful.
Sugar's staying at the Best Western on 8th Avenue last night.
Oh, I mean, that is not good.
Well, P. Diddy takes over a whole hotel floor at the Four Seasons in L.A.
Doesn't look good, does it?
Not at all.
Here's Chuck with the World News National Events. What's going on, Chuck?
Pentagon officials say steep, rocky terrain is hampering efforts to recover the bodies of 7 Marines who died yesterday in Pakistan, killed when the tanker plane they were aboard crashed into a mountainside.
Imus in Washington's continuing high alert coverage of the war on terrorism. Among the latest developments, the search for Osama bin Laden and Supreme Taliban leader Mullah Mohammed Omar has taken a decidedly unpredicted turn as U.S. Special Forces troops operating across the Afghan-Pakistani border reported finding 2 Arab-looking men resembling the fugitives engaged in a homosexual act in a Kashmir bathhouse. At the Pentagon, spokesman Admiral John Stufflebeam addressed the report, and Screw the Pooch microphones were there.
Pending interrogation, we don't know yet if these 2 individuals are, in fact, bin Laden and Mullah Omar, but we suspect they are. One is quite tall, with what our troops describe as a tiny Petey. The other, a more stocky, shorter man. Both appear to be eunuchs.
No balls, sir?
None, which jives with both bin Laden and Omar's recent behavior in our view. Although when our forces entered the bathhouse, both suspects were found bent over, I'm reliably told that neither appeared to be praying.
Also in Washington, the Bush administration is reported to be scrambling to find a new base of operations for Dick Cheney after an unauthorized disclosure revealed that the vice president's secure, undisclosed location has been in the basement of the Enron building in Houston, Texas.
Meanwhile, in what can only be described as a fit of candor, unusually blunt, Massachusetts Senator Edward Kennedy has elaborated on the meeting he had with First Lady Laura Bush in his Capitol Hill offices on the morning of September 11th. Pressed by reporters, the senator appeared to struggle with a matter of conscience. As you know, our new First Lady, Laura Bush, is an attractive woman, but, in my view, prudish and excessively concerned with seeming proper. In other words, a challenge I embrace. And so, on the pretense of discussing pending education legislation, it is true that on September 11th, I had lured Miss Bush to my offices for purposes of plying her with liquor, in hopes of engaging her in a Clinton-esque episode. Who could ever predicted what would happen on that day? Regrettably, with the changes wrought in our nation since those events, I now shall never know how or whether I would have succeeded. But let me say this. Based on years of careful evaluation and experience,
I strongly suspect she's a screamer. Thank you. And finally, in another not unrelated matter, from our science and technology desk, news from Pfizer Pharmaceuticals that researchers are making progress in designing a more quickly acting liquid form of Pfizer's popular impotency drug, Viagra, now only available in tablet form. A company spokesman reported on the progress of the R&D program for representatives of the news media, and ASTP microphones were present.
We are very excited at Pfizer to bring to the market this new anti-impotency option. We see it as suitable either for use as is or as a mixer. And this is our baby right here in this test bottle.
Is there a name assigned to the product yet?
Yes, it'll be available under the generic name Midixaplavin.
A proposed Pfizer ad campaign for the new product shows a couple on a sofa as boy turns to gal and says, "Excuse me a minute, sweetheart, while I pour myself a stiff one."
It's a cheating situation. A stealing invitation to take what's not really ours, to make it through the midnight hour. It's a cheating situation, just a cheap imitation, doing what we have to do when there's no love at home.
Imus in the morning.
Every one of us has reasons to travel. A baby or
American Music Awards for that pinhead Puffy, P. Diddy, Pantywaist, to go out of his way to introduce Snoop, point out that Snoop is in the audience, and little Bow Wow had a little Bow Wow on stage.
Yep. Right.
So,
at some point, Snoop was on stage.
Oh,
too.
yeah, Snoop was on stage. Certainly.
that is not good.
In the open.
Not good for Suge Knight. That's my point.
It's a strange coincidence that he fled L.A. while all these quote-unquote enemies.
They was afraid to stay in Los Angeles. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying it's a strange coincidence.
By the way, Bo's listening. I may need Jimmy and Vinny today. I mean, I've got myself covered, but I may, just in case. So,
you're going to need a battalion of Rangers.
I'll be fine.
Get out of this building alive.
Oh, my God.
So, but I mean, I think you can. I was willing to defend Suge on the basis of, let's move on to the past is the past. Let's move on. But when people go out of their way to stick it in your face and humiliate you on national television with 35 million people watching, or 30 million, or whatever it was, I think you have to address that issue. I don't think you can tolerate that.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. Do you?
Some way you got to take a look at that.
And I don't think you can have.
I don't know how exactly, but
I don't think you can have Snoop on stage with a bunch of other little chumps. There's some show over here at the Manhattan Center chanting F Suge Knight and F Death Row. And not address that issue.
Without losing a couple of kneecaps.
Yeah. So.
Or something.
Can't let it just slide.
You can't just say, I care about the kids and we have our own,
Well, which is all fine.
Yeah, that's great.
Sure.
But you're not going to get it done with Ray J, by the way. And Lisa Lopes, whatever her name is.
Right.
Isn't she the one who set Andre Rison's house on fire?
That is correct.
Okay. So that's not going.
No, that's not happening.
That's not going to be That's not going to be That's not going to be this century's chronic. That's not what's going to happen. And then on the Rose website, which is actually kind of amusing. They have a picture of Dr. Dre sitting there talking to a bunch of police officials. And we have to check it out. It's THAROW.com. And although I had to go to Google to get it,
Right.
I couldn't punch it up. It's kind of amusing. But so that's irritating.
Well,
I was talking with, and then we have Carvel.
then you add that.
Carvel and Bagala to add to that. And thanks to the people at MSNBC for making me aware of this.
Alerting us, right.
I have my monitor in front of me here so I can tell whether we're on or not. And they flashed a picture of Carville and Bagala on the Today Show this morning. Well, they know better than that. I mean, here's the point. Go on whatever you want to go on. Just don't then know what the rules are here and be hideously disloyal and book yourself on this program. Just take a pass on this program. Say, well, we're just going to do Imus. We'll do the Today Show and see how we do.
That's fine. That's your decision.
It's, how, if they can sell this book, I mean, the book is dreadful. It's a dreadful title, a hideous picture of these two disloyal skunks, and the art department is Simon & Schuster. I mean, what is it? I mean, it's hideous.
I mean, that just is...
And Carville had the temerity to actually write a book entitled "Sticking About Loyalty," and he's revealed himself to be a double-talking, backstabbing, disloyal weasel like the rest of them, like the guys he works for.
Yep. Right.
Skunks.
Yeah.
Well. It's 26 after the hour here in the Imus Morning program. Please welcome to the program now, from the great state of Oklahoma, Congressman J.C. Watts. Good morning, Congressman Watts.
Amen. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Did you and I talk about the Miami Hurricanes Nebraska game?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
We don't need to. The Hurricane, they spoke loud and clearly.
They could have beaten the Vikings probably, or
boy, I tell you,
the Ravens or anybody.
They look pretty doggone good, and Nebraska looked pretty doggone bad.
Wow. So how have you been?
Been good, man. This has been a great one.
Let me go see where Suge is.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Good morning, man. Well, as you know, Juan Gonzalez turned down...
Put your lipstick on for him.
Juan Gonzalez turned down the Mets' offer, signed with his old team, the Texas Rangers, where he was MVP in 1996 and 98. Here's Rangers general manager John Hart.
All right.
The name of the game is runs scored, and Juan Gonzalez certainly is going to add to an already potent offensive ball club.
Wrong. The name of the game is pitching. And that's why Texas has never been in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Old players never die. They just go to the broadcast booth. Ex-Yankee Paul O'Neill has exchanged his bat for a microphone, joining the Yankees broadcast on the Yes Network. Of course, in broadcasting, you can't throw the microphone.
So we need another moron on TV.
Say it isn't so. Former Bears defensive tackle Refrigerator Perry, retired 10 years ago, has decided to become a boxer and will take on none other than Eric Butterbean Escher, February 2nd at the Grand Casino in Gulfport, Mississippi. Where's the beef? That's a 600 pounds in the ring. All right. All living presidents will be introduced before the Super Bowl, with Nancy Reagan sitting in for President Reagan. So instead of the normal standard introductions, maybe it will go like this.
Wait a minute.
From Georgia, former peanut farmer, here he is, Jimmy Carter. From Michigan, where he was a center on the football team. Pardon President Nixon, here he is, Gerald Ford. Former head of the CIA. Now has a son in office, 41st President of the United States, George Bush Sr. And from Arkansas. Frequently had his mind on other things while in the White House, was ridiculed by Don Imus during the correspondence dinner, President Bill Clinton. Well, just another way of introducing the presidents during the Super Bowl.
Thank you very much, Water.
NBA last night, the Lakers beat the Pacers 109-90. Kobe had 31. Shaq in foul trouble had only 20 and only 4 rebounds. Ex-Knicks coach Jeff Van Gundy made his TV debut in Orlando last night. Orlando beat the Sixers 102-91. The call for the resignation of Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig continues. This time from Michigan Congressman John Conyers. In 1995, when Selig was still owner of the Brewers, as well as interim commissioner, he loaned Twins owner Carl Pollard $3 million,
which is prohibited by Rule 20C in the bylaws of baseball, causing, of course, conflict of interest. All right, the good news. For all you soccer fans, all 64 World Cup soccer games from South Korea and Japan this summer will be broadcast live to the United States. The bad news, because of the time difference, the games will begin at 2:30 a.m., 5 a.m., and 7:30 a.m. New York time. For Imus in the Morning Sports, this is Warner Wolf.
Walking bird dog. Just a walking bird dog. If you don't know how to do it, show you how to walk bird dog. Come on now, come on.
Imus in the morning.
Everyone, star 555 now. I'm MC Nickel from the New York Lottery Fan Highway Patrol. Hey, you never know.
Trying to be hip, MC Nickel. Get out of my studio. 7 minutes to the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Please welcome now to the Imus in the Morning program the CEO of the Row Records, Suge Knight. Good morning, Mr. Knight.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? We were all upset with you. You didn't get here, so something happened, huh?
Well, you know, it's a thing to call, I guess, publicists or idiots or however you want to call it. They tell me 8:30.
Oh, okay.
So I make sure I was there at 8:30 on the nose. I was up all night, haven't been asleep. Went out.
Want some
Got
coffee?
a rug or two.
So Suge gave me a cigar. Man, I don't smoke cigars, but
looks like a great one.
I'm gonna keep this one.
Oh, you bet.
I'll get you to autograph it or something for me.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So how are you?
Doing great and feeling good. New York weather's nice and cold and fresh and crisp.
Yeah. Did you see the American Music Awards last night?
No, I was being preoccupied.
But you're married. What could you possibly be here was a problem. They had P, that little pimp, P. Diddy, rat, which he is. I mean, I'm not trying to suck up to you, but I mean, when he let that guy, what's that guy's name was on his label?
Shine.
He let him go to prison.
Well, you know, one thing the formers do is this. I guess they gotta have them.
I guess, but I mean, but they had a little Bow Wow on there last night. Did you ever get that thing with Jermaine straightened out with Little Bow Wow?
Actually, we got a meeting on that today, and Little Bow Wow, I'm quite sure that whole situation to be taken care of, and I created him, gave him a name, and put him up and took care of his mother and his supposed to be father, a guy named Doug, but in time.
I'm glad you didn't see it last time because Snoop was there. And he went out of his way to point out that he was there. And then he was on stage, wasn't he?
In the opening, P. Diddy was out, Snoop was out, and Lil Bow Wow was out.
Yeah. So I don't know how
Well, you can't.
We want you to deal with that. Let's get to the point here.
You gotta let boys have their fun. I'm quite sure Lil Bow Wow probably was the more mature adult on the stage.
We're talking with Suge Knight. We're going to talk more with Suge. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back with Suge Knight. Suge was born, by the way, in Compton, California, attended the University of Nevada at Las Vegas, majored in business. Later played for the Los Angeles Rams football team. He was a bodyguard initially for people like Bobby Brown. Eventually formed Death Row Records with Dr. Dre. And we'll talk a little bit about Dre coming up here. Although if you check on the Row website, you can find out pretty much all you need to know.
Not much to discuss.
all you need to know about what the Row's position is regarding the aforementioned Dr. Dre. Anyway, more with Suge Knight coming up.
Imus in the morning.
All right, let me talk to you now about Mohegan Sun. Well, exit 79A, Interstate 395 on
3 DONATE, or log on to www.kidneynynj.org. For fans.
We're talking with Suge Knight, who is the CEO of the Row Records. Used to be Death Row Records. They changed the name of the Row. Why did you change the name?
Well, when we first started Death Row Records, it was very young at that time, and it was good, and that was history.
Yeah.
And the catalog is still going strong because I own my catalog and my masters.
Sure.
And I think now is a new time, a new generation, a little more positive image, just so forced to roll. And it's just another time to make the new artists just as talented and just as much as being legends than the old artists.
Before we talk about what's going on with the row and other stuff, where were you on September 11th?
I was in L.A. running around, and it hit home to me.
What did you think how'd you hear about it? Radio, TV, or?
I heard about the radio, TV. Like I was saying earlier, it wasn't so much. It's always a tragedy anytime you lose a lot of lives for women and children, and there's people, period. But one of the saddest things about it, like I said, I was just getting out of prison. And one thing about prison, if you can't get from point A to point B without having some type of prison ID or some type of badge of for his own. And right after that incident, if you went to Universal, if you went to Warner Brothers, or if you went to any type of these places to do business, it would seem like they had everybody on the streets actually doing time, because you actually had to have on name tags and have ID. So a lot of it took we might have lost a lot of lives, but we also lost our freedom. Because from that incident, everybody now, even at these offices, these major corporations, everybody got on prison ID, and they operate like you're in prison.
Gym I go to every day, you got to go by two people.
Really?
Got to go by a guy at the bottom of the escalator, and then up at the top, you got to put on one of these electronic deals. So.
Well, if we don't watch and turn things around, pretty soon everybody might be wearing this blues, old prison clothes, with numbers.
Well, yeah. How was prison?
I mean, prison is prison. For me, it was exciting. It was a lesson. I had a great time. I got a chance to.
How could you have a great time in prison?
Well, how I had peace within myself. Plus, I had opportunity to see a lot of my homies that got life that would never ever see the streets again. Never, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to spend some time with them, and
Were you in a cell with somebody?
Oh yeah, I was in the cell. I had a cellie. But my cellie's job was to do the cleaning.
How was that arrangement made?
Well, he cleans the walls, he cleans the floor,
He didn't do your laundry, did he?
I got somebody else to do the laundry.
Oh, he did? Wasn't nobody trying to have sex with you, was he?
Well, I was cool on booty and head. Those was other guys. You must think you're talking to Aftermath or something. You said it was the raw, all of a sudden you're changing up on me.
We're talking with Suge Knight, record Suge. And, well, they claim back to September 11th for a second. People claim, and they're probably right, I think they're right, that people's sensibilities have changed, that the stuff they care about has changed. That, like all that Hollywood jive, all that other stuff, that the fundamental things in life are now more important than, what Julia Roberts is doing, or what, or what Suge Knight, or what P. Diddy, or you know what I'm saying? Do you agree with that? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I think it was a reality check for society, and and like I said before, you threw up old P. Diddy. I think it's time we just all pray for Puffy. I think it's time for we just show him some support instead of bashing him all the time. Because you got to realize one thing: the guy lost the love of his life to a dancer.
The only worst thing I thought, Steve Martin, I met a couple of times. The comedian Steve Martin.
Right.
Yeah. And he was going out with that girl. What the hell's her name? Anne Heche. And then she left him for another woman. Now, if your woman leaves you for another woman, that's even worse than what happened to Puffy, ain't it?
I don't know. Maybe another woman might can do a little something that a man can't do. But what could the dancer do besides dance? Don't Puffy dance too? So we can. Maybe they should just have an old-fashioned dancing contest and see who wins.
Does the fact that we agree things have changed, does that affect the songs you all write, or that you?
I would say, for the stuff we write and we do, I wouldn't say we changing things, but we improving things. A lot of things we deal with is real issues, things that goes on in the neighborhood.
Here in New York, they had a concert at Madison Square Garden, and the people like Bruce Springsteen and Julia Roberts, Susan Sarandon, and all them people, who had been calling cops pigs on September 10th, was raising money for him on September 12th. And people have a different view of not all people, but people, I've lived in New York 30 years. People in New York have a different view of cops and certainly firemen than they ever did before. So my question for you is that true in Compton? I know the L.A. Police Department has some problems, but...
Well, one of the things you got to realize, I'm not saying Julie Robinson didn't come from the heart, but sometimes a lot of people use these type of things to relight their career. To get famous again. They want their 5 minutes of fame. They want to pull a hammer. If things ain't going right, he's going to be a preacher. Things start going right a little bit, he's going to be back a dancer. So, a lot of times people do whatever they can to just get on TV or try to start their career over again. But the ones who's really sincere about it, I feel for them. The ones who just trying to use any type of tragedy, anything that goes wrong in the world to get noticed, I think they worse than the devil.
But what I think, what a very good question, but let me re-ask it. Well, my question is, do you or do people in your community, or in Los Angeles in general, in Beverly Hills where your office is, or in Compton where you're born and raised, do they look at cops different now and firemen than they did? Or is it?
I think that a lot of people look at cops, definitely firemen is a lot different. And it comes to the point, and for us, the ghetto basically try to do what they can, but at the same time, they feel like they still getting jacked up like a 57 Chevy for no reason and harassed.
So it doesn't change.
So it really don't change much.
What is the situation in the LA police? That was a huge scandal when they had the cop to setting up gang. I realize gang members killing one another, like the mafia killing one another. I don't know why anybody cares, but but the point is that the police revealed themselves to be, man, that was a mess. Is that straightened out now, or?
Well, I don't know. I probably had to ask some of the guys that in the music business who deal with the police all the time. But they probably have a better insight on it. But one of the things about it, no matter what field you in, you can have a good, you can have a bad.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're a cop, you can have good cops, you can have bad cops. So it shouldn't be surprising to society because everybody's still a human. As long as you're a human, as long as you're mortal, you subject to do sin, make mistakes, a good little slick and try to do what you got to do.
When you founded Death Row Records back in the early 90s, yes, and then you and Dr. Dre did what a lot of people, even somebody like me, old white guy who don't know anything, acknowledged was the definitive rap album of that decade, The Chronic.
Right.
And then on that album, I guess, was Snoop, Doggy Dogg, other people. And you made this widely acknowledged. You made big stars, a lot of these people.
You're correct.
And then they turned on you. And my question is, why why do you think they turned on you?
Well, you gotta realize one thing. If you get some guys off the block, we call off the mud, their loyalty is there because they understand the rules of the streets, the rules of the game. A lot of these guys was nice guys who bounced around from neighborhood to neighborhood. And unfortunately, for the people who was my competition at the time, anybody that wave $1 in these guys' face, anybody gonna rub their head and hold their hand, that's who they're gonna be with. So when I went there to, walk them through certain situations and give them their own pep talk, the last person to talk to them, that's the person they went. It's maybe more like a street mentality of a hooker. They say whoever got the best mouthpiece for a hoe, that's who the hoe gonna hoe for.
No.
And if the pimp's away, somebody else gonna be hoeing that hoe.
See, it's no different in Congress, in American business, like that whole mess at Enron, in any big corporation, than it is. People think, there's a tendency to think, what happened at Death Row doesn't happen in society. But obviously Death Row is part of society, and these huge corporations where there's the same kind of thing going on, where it's all about money, isn't it? It's all, people think it's personal about you.
It's not personal, but to me it's about two things. It's about the money, and it's also about the credibility. what really makes you worth something is the credibility. When a person have
street credibility, or
yeah, if it's straight credibility, or if it's a person's name credibility. Like if you notice when Ike used to beat the mess out of Tina Turner, and they went to court, and she didn't want nothing. So you can have the house, you can have your drawers, you can have my drawers, you can have whatever you want. Only thing I want is my name. That made her a very extreme smart woman, because she knows she can take her name, and her name had credibility. She could walk into any record company and say, I want to sing, and then give her a deal because her name meant something. So credibility is really worth more than money.
That's a good point, yeah.
Credibility is everything.
Well, people, so that brings me to this.
It's like if you decide to pack up and move anywhere, I don't care if it's wherever, your name is credibility.
Yeah.
So anywhere you go, any state you go, any town you go to, they're going to give you the run of the show anytime you want it, because you got a great name.
Now, when you got out of prison, everybody was all running around all terrified. Not everybody, but, Snoop was terrified, Dre was terrified, all these people, Jermaine Dupri, all these people were, you were going to do something to them, but you didn't do anything to them, or you haven't. But you never intended to, you probably never intended to, did you?
Never. One of the things you got to realize is
or did you ever just think about maybe doing it?
No, one of the things you got to realize is this. If a person got to live being paranoid and worrying about if somebody going to do something to them because of the actions or the wrong they done, and they fear everything that walk the face of the earth, that's more miserable. That's a harsher punishment to somebody actually. It's like if your mother tell you, or your daddy tell you, okay, when I get home from work, I'm going to whoop your ass, right? And when they get home from work and they don't whoop your ass right away, they say, I'm going to get you. That means you might start hiding feeling and can't rest all night. Even though they're not going to do nothing to you. Then that's doing it, getting it over with. So, a lot of these guys is which we were saying in the ghetto, they basically weenies. So it's no big deal. I mean, I feel it's not even fair picking on those guys. Let those guys live their life. Plus, I got so many positive things going on with Crooked Eye and PB and Eastwood, and and Corrupt is back on death row now. Actually, the row who's came home, and we got so much.
Some guy called me this morning and said that Puffy has stole Corrupt.
Corrupt is right outside the studio.
Oh, okay.
So if Puffy can do that,
who killed Tupac?
I don't know.
Did you kill Biggie Smalls, or did you hire somebody to kill him?
Definitely not. But one thing I would have done, I definitely would have eventually had Biggie on death row. He was
really?
Extremely talented artist.
Yeah, he was talented. Even I know that. I'm not a big rap guy, but I know about it.
You gotta realize one thing. There's no such thing as really no East Coast, West Coast war, but it's a different style of rapping. East Coast was always more of a rhymer. West Coast is more like a lot of storytellers and stuff. Biggie was like West Coast and East Coast. Biggie was an incredible rapper. And I think that in the future, if things would have happened, Biggie would have been on death row, Tupac would have been on death row. Those two guys together would have had great albums, and I would have had two great artists.
But you're aware that Rolling Stone magazine and a number of people have alleged that you hired some rogue cop and was involved in some other deal in L.A. to retaliate because of Tupac killed him to take care of Biggie.
Well, one thing about me, I'm always honest. A ball, strike a strike. And I never ever, actually, always had a lot of love and a lot of respect for Biggie. The person I never had respect for was Puffy. No. So if somebody had any animosity, it would have been against Puffy, not Biggie.
You're going to bump somebody off, but bump him off. We're talking with Suge Knight from the Rural Records. It's 20 minutes after the hour here in the Imus in the Morning program. When I grew up, the school I went to when I was in grammar school, so I was half black. So I'd never actually heard the N-word till I went in the Marine Corps.
Right.
I heard two black guys say it to each other. Not in a disparaging sense, but. And I remember going to high school, both my brother and I, that was when Fats Domino and Little Richard were.
Exactly.
And then they had Pat Boone, and so I forget some other people. But they were making the same records. Difference was, and the radio stations in those days, I didn't even know anything about radio then, the radio stations in some cases were not playing Fats Domino and not playing Little Richard, playing Pat Boone's version. But Pat Boone didn't try to sound like Little Richard or Fats Domino. He just did his, his lame. Even I thought it was lame then. I didn't know anything, but I mean, it was lame. And so which brings me to white rappers. And like Bernard, my producer, grew up in the Bronx, but he doesn't, and he understands what's going on in the neighborhood, but he doesn't try to talk black.
Right.
And so do you find it, what is your view of white rappers who sound black?
Well, first I want to address the part what you said, the nigger word. So I can say that.
Yeah.
The difference is that I'd rather say I'm a nigger or I'm black than simply say your politicians and everybody say African Americans, and the only thing they want to do is snatch your pockets off and use the money for themselves. In Africa, first of all, I'm glad I'm American, and there's nothing to do with Africa. But in Africa, Africans don't even call themselves African. If somebody in Kenya, they call themselves Kenyan. They don't say African
right.
or African American. So there's nothing wrong with being black or being, But the thing is, your question is a white rapper trying to imitate a black person. It's no difference. It's just I'm far from a racist, but I'm a realist. I deal with the reality. It's no different than if you go back to the 30s or the 40s when you would see white guys go on stage and paint their face with shoe polish and sing "Mammy." It's that's the reality of people gonna do what they can do to win. A lot of these people is still stuck in slave mentality. So if Eminem decide to act like a black rapper, you can't knock Eminem for that. What you do is you look at it and say, you look at Dre. He said, okay, if this guy you claim you from Compton, which you're not, or you claim you brought the ghetto, how many black artists have you put out from the ghetto? How many black artists have you actually made their record? There's a lot of guys who have been sitting on Aftermath since Aftermath first started, and they had never get a record out. Then you got to turn around and look at it another way. It's really not an Aftermath, it's really not a company, because Universal owns Eminem and Interscope owns Eminem. That's not an Aftermath artist.
That's a pretty good point. That's a good point.
So the only thing they do is say, okay, we're just going to use you for the driver. People can think that's your car because you can get past in the ghetto with it. But that's not really your car. So, nigga boy, after you get through driving this car, clean it up, wash it up, then we're going to take it the rest of the way.
But it can't be, see, white rappers now, it can't be because they're going to get more airplay than black rappers, because they're not. Because they're going to get, in fact, the biggest rap audience, I would think, would be white kids.
Well, one of the things that if you're a white rapper, you're able to say things and talk about certain things that black rappers can't do, even today.
Like?
I mean, like when we was putting our records out at through Interscope, which David Cohen's over there and Jimmy's over there. I like those guys. There was nothing against them personally. But when we was putting certain records out, and even Dre knows this, they was okay. You got to take this part off there. Don't say this about women, or don't say this about the police, or don't do this, but then Eminem, you don't see Dolores Tucker messing with Eminem, but Dolores Tucker was all over us, suing us, trying to suing Pac, and Eminem could talk about raping little kids, doing anything he want to talk about, and it's acceptable.
Good point.
That's because he's white.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's the reality of it.
To get to roll back on top, you're going to have a association with a major label, aren't you?
Not really. I mean, one of the things about, people so caught up in the slave mentality. Not saying major labels are bad, but at the same time, these guys not own their masters, and how many artists really making money? If a guy shoots 4 or 5 videos and he spent $2 million a piece, he's $10 million unrecouped, no matter what. So anytime you want a statement or a royalty check, it won't be a royalty check. It'll say unrecoup, But at the same time, they'll make sure he keep the car. They'll make sure he keeps some jewelry. But he still will never have real money. And once it's over, it's over. But I think if you really look at it, if you do music, I think you should, first of all, you should do music from your heart. You should do it or be in business because you enjoy it, number one. Number two, you should definitely do it because you want to make money. Not only for yourself, but for your kids, for your future. And you can't make real money if you're only getting 2%, 5%, or 7%.
But in terms for you, I'm talking about distribution. I'm talking about just getting that, that. I mean, I know a lot of the people who you had working for you just in the record promotion deal. I mean, you were the first person to take rap radio, weren't you?
Right.
Yeah. So, but a lot of those. So everybody's doing the same thing now. And what I'm saying is that the apparatus is in place with these big companies to get it done. And I mean, I just don't.
The difference.
I don't mean to argue with you, but I mean, I don't see how you get it done without.
But you know the radio game, I know the music game. The difference is this: what made rap music, what made hip hop music so explosive.
You didn't think I was arguing with you, did you? Good. Thank God.
One thing about rap music that made hip hop music great, if you really look at it, is that back in the day, it took me, say, you spend $60,000 studio time to make a record. Say you spend another $50,000 for a video. Say you spend another couple $100,000 for promotions. Okay? And you sell 2-3 million records. And at that time, Michael Jackson probably spends anywhere from $30, $40, $50 million off the top before he sell one record.
Yeah.
And if he sell 5 million records and you sell 3 million records, who made more money business-wise?
Yeah.
And then what the majors don't understand is they might get an artist that used to be on my label, right?
Right.
And instead of spending $60,000 or $80,000 to make that record, they spending $2 million studio time or $1.5 million studio time, $2 million for a video. Crazy. So before they make one record, they out of $15 million. So even if they sell more records on me with paper, they're not going to make more money than me.
But then the bottom line still too is, it's not. I don't know if it's I think it is to sell the most records. It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be mass appeal. It's got to be to reach the most people. I hear what you're saying about cost, but still, you want to,
But you want to be able to see your money, though.
Pardon me?
You want to be able to see your money. That's like a guy who's into the internet or something.
Yes.
And say he's worth $100 million. But then if he want to buy a pack of cigarettes, he got to borrow $2 from him. He can't go get it. So,
we know some of those people.
So do you want to live in the reality world or do you want to live in the fantasy world? Depends on what you're looking for.
More of a Suge Knight coming up.
You made me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame.
Imus in the morning.
Let the buyer beware. 24 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a little, about a 2 or 3 minute break from talking with Suge Knight, who is the CEO of The Row, which used to be Death Row Records. And
you guys aren't holding hands in there by any chance, are you?
I love Suge. And Suge, don't be saying anything about Suge.
I'm not saying, I love him too.
How would you like me and Suge to come in there and make a sandwich out of you?
Suge would have to wheel you in here, though. That's the problem.
Here from the New York, formerly from the New York Giants and now CBS Sports, is Phil Simms. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Don. You two should just get married. Just get it over with. Just get married. Man, this is I tell you, I have never heard you kiss somebody's butt more than you kissed Suge this morning.
No, I'm going to whip your ass when I see you. That's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be paying my respects to Suge Knight. That's all.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. No.
He's the first guest you've had on in a long time that makes more money than you.
Actually, on a serious note, Suge Knight is one. I grew up in the record business. Suge Knight is one of the few people in the record business who tells these young artists what money they should be getting. And these kids sign with these, and I grew up this way. These kids sign with these record companies, and nobody ever tells them one word about publishing, about BMI, about ASCAP, about anything. And all they ever get, every time they turn around, they get a statement from the record company that talks about what money they had to deduct for studio costs, for promotion, for I mean, it's even big selling artists don't get any money.
I believe it.
That's why these artists have to. Why do you think these? Do you think that these artists, like even the Rolling Stones or any of these people, want to go around the world and spend their whole life out on the road doing these shows? No. I mean, they might want to do a couple of shows, but nobody wants to spend their entire life on the road. And the reason they have to do that because the record companies don't pay them. So at least. You think what you want about Suge Knight, but at least the guy tells at least he tells these kids what they're going to get. Now, whether they get it or not is different. So,
you need some oxygen. That's big man.
You might have to jump ugly with Suge to get the money, but at least they know what they get. Deal is. Anyway, how are you?
What it sounds like though?
What?
It sounds like he needs to go fix boxing then, because that's the same thing that happens in boxing. These guys go out there and fight for 20 years and they have no money.
Well,
It's, I don't know. Maybe it's worse. But I'm doing good. How are you?
I was with my friend Rock Newman. At least Rock's the same way. I mean, whether who was that guy? Goofy. Not Goofy.
Oh, Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe, yeah.
I mean, he made Riddick Bowe the heavyweight champ, and Riddick, even though he freaked out, at least wound up. Rock didn't steal all his money.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, who do you like this weekend?
I like them all.
You moron.
Hey,
by the way, I guaranteed Miami would whoop up on Nebraska. What happened?
Well, so did I.
No, you didn't.
Sure I did. I picked Miami.
You want to hear the tape?
You got a tape of it?
Yeah.
Oops. Well, you fixed it then.
No, we didn't fix anything. We didn't fix anything.
What are you, on pot?
Hey, read my lips. I did not inhale.
Play the tape, Lou.
I don't want to hear those.
I guarantee.
Here we go.
That Miami will win. So.
Will they cover? Will they win by more than 8?
Oh, I don't know about that. Factor that in. I don't gamble.
Well, I'm not going to guarantee Nebraska's going to win. I'm just looking for the upset.
Well, it's not going to happen. So.
All right, big boy.
You'll be wrong again.
We'll find out. I love this. I hear how you pick all these games right, and everybody says that I don't pick them right.
You don't. You were only right when you were playing. Well, what do you have to say now?
Now what?
Well, I got nothing to say.
Oops. Good.
Oops. Yeah, it's the first time you boy, must have taken a lot for your
I don't want to waste time talking to you. I got to take you back to Suge, so hurry up here.
Get your licks back where they belong.
I'm going to whip your ass when I see you. I'm going to pistol whip you.
Hey, I look forward to talking to you next week.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
Raiders, Jets, quick, come on.
No, I want to talk to Suge. I do. I don't want to talk to you. Let him interview me.
You like to
Hey, listen, I think I could go in the rap business. I think I can do it.
Yeah, Raiders or Jets? Who do you like?
Raiders and Jets. It's going to be awfully tough for the Jets to go out there and beat them again.
Yeah.
It really is. Do you think so? Because you're the expert now.
Raiders 38-7.
38-7.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay.
Eagles, Buccaneers.
I like the upset. I like the Buccaneers down up there.
Eagles will not lose this game. I guarantee it.
Here we go,
I guarantee it. The Eagles will not lose.
Save the tape.
Packers, 49ers.
Packers.
Okay, and Dolphins, Ravens.
I can't talk. I'm doing that game.
What do you mean? You can't pick a winner?
Well, no, I never pick games I'm doing. Dude, you want me to go down there and some of those players hear that? They want to kick my butt if I pick against their team.
Good point, yeah.
The players hate that.
Get off my phone.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you, babe.
Okay, Phil Sims. New York Giants. My program.
It was ugly.
That's ugly, isn't it, shit?
Ugly.
They were calling me your bitch here yesterday. That's not good, is it?
No, the slip fits.
No, you can't say that.
Snap.
We had to censor that now. You can't say the S word.
Well, why you put that sign up there? I was only reading your card.
More Suge Knight coming up.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg, plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, 'cause you mean that much to me. Imus in the morning.
Every director has a vision. Now there's a television that
First Monday, premiering CBS Tuesday after Jag.
17 till the hour here in the Irish Morning program. We're talking with Suge Knight, who's in town. Why are you on the East Coast?
Well, I thought it was time to get a little cold weather and see what's really going on in New York and, hang out a little bit. Mainly come to see you.
You did?
Yeah.
Last time I talked to you about Dr. Dre, you said Dr. Dre was gay. Is that right?
Well, I can't say that. What I can say is this. I know we had a meeting, and we used to have these meetings where everybody got to tell the truth. So it was all the guys in there, it was Pac in there, and Pac said, well, I don't feel comfortable doing songs with Dre no more because Dre is a homosexual.
Right.
And Dre looked at Pac and said, "Why you always gotta say stupid things? I'm not a homosexual. I'm bisexual."
Yeah.
So he said he messed with guys and you know, and women. So then Pac turned around and said, "Man, I can't see how any man want to be ramming up going up for another man."
Yeah.
Then Dre turned around and told Pac, "There you go being stupid again. Why would I need to, you know, go up with another man when I can do that with a woman?" He said, "The thing is, the reason why I'm bisexual, because I be wanting a man around me."
Oh, I see.
So
well, it's different. It is different.
So
Yeah.
I guess he made a point. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we all looked at him like, you know, but at the time, that couldn't come. But, you know, but that was neither here and there. That was a conversation him and Pac had.
Did he tell you that Dre ever tell you that he actually wanted to be white?
He said that. What Dre told me before, that's the only thing he told me one-on-one. He said he wanted something more than anything in the world. And it was a serious conversation. He turned around and told me, he said, "No matter what, I really want to be white." I looked at him, first I thought he was playing, so I said he was serious. So I said, "Well, you know what, as a friend, as a partner, as a manager, I'll tell you the truth. Like I told you before, I'm a realist. I deal with the reality of real life." I said, "You can never be white. But what you can do, you can act like you're white. You can live like you're white. You can do all those things to become white." And at one time, you know, I felt he was on his way to the yellow brick road. I was happy for him. Actually, I don't have nothing against Dre personally. You know, I think everybody should be happy for him. You know, he acts like he's white. He don't be in the ghetto. You know, he got a white rapper. Hey, he married a white girl.
I know there's still racism in America, of course. Racism is...
One thing about it is, it's always going to be racism.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's not just the color of skin, regardless if it's young or old, regardless if it's, you know.
But people, now, just regular people think that people like Michael Jordan or others are handsome or good looking. I mean, you just hear that all the time. You hear white people say that. And they're not trying to patronize Michael Jordan or anybody else. I mean, it's just acknowledged. And so, at least to that degree, I can remember when I grew up and you know, the feeling among black people, at least the sense I got, was that they didn't feel, people were making them not feel equal. But I think everybody understands that was just absurd, you know. So why somebody, I don't know I guess my point is, I don't know what the advantage would be in today's world, particularly in the entertainment business or in sports, to be white as opposed to black. I mean, unless I'm naive.
Well, probably if he's soft, Dukes, and you're softy, it's probably a lot more advantage to be white than black if you're a guy from the ghetto, because you got to realize one thing. That ghetto, there ain't no rules. That ghetto's a whole bunch of sharks want to bite something.
No, but
want to get fed, want to eat.
There's no different at IBM. It really isn't.
Yeah, it's no different. But
it's not as vicious, maybe, but
you can't tell a guy that who never been on the other side of the fence is no different. You know, everybody always think the grass green on the other side, and really the grass is green on both sides. The same old thing, same old dirt.
This, let's got a couple of minutes here. This Jennifer Lopez tape, does that really exist that we heard about?
I plead the fifth. No, they can never lie to you. I mean, you know, it's a tape. It's definitely a tape.
Of her having sex with somebody, or?
Well, it's her doing it. Be honest with you, it made the Pamela Anderson lead look rated PG. I got.
Oh, you're kidding. Who has that tape?
Make it look Walt Disney.
All right. When's the release?
When's the release date?
I don't think that's fair, because, you know, I think J-Lo works very hard to get the level she on for her career and with her acting, and she's a very, you know, intelligent. I don't know about intelligent, but she's a very nice-looking woman. You know.
Yeah.
And she, I like her because she had balls. She do what she want to do. She on my team, you know. Hey.
How'd you get the tape? None of my business, is it?
Hey, I think you said, hey, well, what tape?
Somebody told me Ray J was a mama's boy trying to get gangster credentials, and that he wasn't. You were talking about that before, about he wasn't a real deal. What's the deal with him?
Well, I never said he wasn't a real deal. Now, Ray J is on Atlantic Records. And, you know, that's up to Atlantic to do what they do.
I get prepped, you know, by some of the women here at the radio station who are into rap themselves. They say, Hey, you old fool ass Suge this, you know. So.
Right. You know, whatever you want to ask, you know, I'm going to keep a ball, striker. I'm going to tell it like it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, thank you for coming over. I appreciate it.
So you kicking me out now? What?
Well, the show's over.
I mean, I have to go, right?
You'll be sitting there by yourself because we're going to leave.
Follow you out.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome.
It's a pleasure to be in the Big Apple. I'm trying to come on here and take a big old bite of this apple. See what I'm going to take back to home with me.
Happy New Year and good luck, and, keep your nose clean, that kind of deal.
You know, I'm planning on staying out of prison for 100 years.
You don't need to go back to prison.
Never that. So, but next time, we do an interview. Next time you're in L.A., we got to go to the game, to Staples Center. Then we got to go in Compton and do a little low ride and stuff. I need to do an interview with you.
That will not be happening.
Hey, you got the permit already. What's the big deal?
Well, I don't have it for California. Suge Knight, thanks, Suge, very much. Suge Knight here in the Emerson Morning Program.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
Imus in the morning.
As a country, we like to travel.
All right, let me talk to you about Mohegan Sun, exit 79A, Interstate 395. Hey, by the way, Bernard. Yo, Suge said you guys messaged me that he is just a phone call away. So,
bring it on.
I want you to step out the door that time, that.
Okay, Mrs. Knight.
Now isn't that better than sitting around a house being miserable?
No, not that spot.
Not that spot?
No, Bigelow.
Really?
Yes.
I'm in the wrong.
You're in the wrong hour.
Wrong hour. Bigelow tea, I love that tea. Well, I don't actually drink tea. I do when I get sick. Deirdre likes it. She had a whole closet with cupboard full of it. Bigelow tea, made up in Fairfield, Connecticut. Spend your life running around from one place to the next, never taking any time for yourself. Slow down, take a deep breath. Get your grubby hands around a big old mug of Bigelow tea. Yeah. And one of the ways they do that is by sealing every tea bag in a Stay Fresh foil packet so that it's not like Lipton. It's all dried out and flaky and everything.
Maybe that crap.
You don't need that. No. You need Bigelow tea. Great company, great family who runs it. Look in the tea section in your favorite supermarket for Bigelow tea. Connecticut School of Broadcasting. They can change your life. Lou Rufino teaches there. Lou, of course, can't get much bigger in broadcasting than Lou. He knows what's going on working with I-Man. Lou has, of course, a significant on-air presence and does know about this engineering stuff. And can teach you, and they have the quality of people they have teaching at the Connecticut School of people like Lou Rufino, so but not chumps, 1-800-TV radio. Give them a call. Say, I want to be just like Warner Wolf. Marv Albert. Voted best overall hotel experience by In New York magazine. The Regal Royal Hotel in the heart of Midtown Manhattan is making luxury more affordable every weekend now through March 1st. Just steps from Broadway theaters, Carnegie Hall, Central Park. This award-winning all-suite hotel is offering a special $249 rate so that you can indulge yourself in the plush surroundings and the impeccable service that have made the Regal Royal a favorite spot of celebrities and entertainment executives. Bernie and Larry stayed there. They have awarded best room amenities. What does that mean? Included in this package is your choice of complimentary parking or breakfast. So because you can eat or park your car. The Regal Royal puts you where you want to be. In the middle of Manhattan, what's happening? The Regal Royal, call them 1-800-937-5454.
Call Della Russo Laser Vision at 1-800-I-CARE. Find out how much your
Lottery fan, Highway Patrol. Hey, you never know.
What's this about Carvel and Bagala now?
Well, they're blaming Simon & Schuster, specifically David Rosenthal and his assistant Tracy Guest, for bust-out lying to them, saying that we said it was okay for them to go on the Today Show before they came on the Imus in the Morning program.
Right.
And, of course, it is a bust-out lie.
Yeah.
And so they want to come on, and they're furious, and they feel sort of bad, but it really wasn't their fault. And they want to hook you up with David Rosenthal and see if he denies lying. it's come to that.
Oh, Rosenthal, they're my publisher, you know.
Know all about him. So you know.
We know all about him. I mean, I'm doing a book for him. So I know that David Rosenthal is one of the worst people on the planet. He's an absolute bust-out crook, and by the way, it's part of Viacom now. If I were him, my relationship with Summer and Mel, I'd watch my step.
Right.
You know?
He could be setting the printer at the...
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to tolerate that. Mel's not.
That was very dishonest of him. Trying to destroy a good relationship.
Well, they're not going to be on, though.
That's it. Why not?
Because I have my principles.
Still have. No, you don't.
Of course I do. If Suge Knight, if you're talking about Suge Knight, Suge Knight showed up twice. Suge Knight came here and showed up. I mean, Suge was great. He answered every single question, including did he kill Biggie Smalls. I mean, the guy doesn't duck anything.
What was his response when you asked him if he had sex in prison? I didn't quite understand
What did he say?
That was a little convoluted, but
a little ambiguous, but.
So I guess we take that as an affirmative response.
Well, I don't think anybody was having sex with him.
I'll tell you what, he was having sex right there in the studio just about 10 minutes ago.
That is outrageous. That was a very good interview.
And he was pitching.
That was a very good interview.
It was a great interview.
He was, whether you like him or not.
I like him a lot.
The guy answers the questions.
Absolutely.
He didn't even duck on the Jennifer Lopez tape.
Not at all.
And the guy's doing, I'm not sucking up to him, but the guy answered the questions. He answered every question. And I watched his jaw muscles and his eye muscles on the Biggie Smalls deal. Nothing.
He's right up front.
Yeah,
no David Rosenthal in that.
Hardly. Did you hire a cop to kill, a road cop to kill Biggie Smalls? He said no. No. He did ask me where Sid was. I said he was not here yet.
Helping Sid dodge a bullet?
Yeah. Right.
He had about 15 guys out there.
Imus in the morning. Here's a message to all those Johnny-come-lately travel services claiming to be the belle of the ball. Bollocks! Only Priceline.com has got...
Copyright 2002, Infinity Broadcasting. All rights are reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment. That is the all. flagship station for Imus in the Morning and New York sports all day is The Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Minko.
Maybe we try.
And you're home for the Mike and the Mad Dog program weekdays 1 until 6:30.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Good job there, Minko. 5 minutes after 10. Thursday here in New York. The Mac and Sid show. Jody McDonald with my partner, Sid Rosenberg. How are you, Sidney?
Well, I've been better, Mac.
What's the matter now?
Here's the big problem. I just wish that Britney wouldn't have sung last night. She looked great. The body looked good. The makeup was perfect. And as soon as she started singing, she embarrassed herself.
Not good?
I actually was going to change the channel because I'm so into Britney. I even was thinking about stalking her in Vegas when I went out there for the Lennox Lewis fight. That's how much I'm into her. And as she started singing, I thought about changing the channel because she was so bad.
Ouch.
She was horrible. She was by far the worst performer of the night last night.
Really?
Yeah. Mac, by far.
Wait. Wasn't Cher on?
That's a good point. Yeah.
She was worse than Cher?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Worse than Kid Rock.
Oh, I like Kid Rock.
He was pretty bad last night.
Really?
Yeah. Worse than, who else was up there? That
you know what? I didn't watch much of it. I watched mostly the Rangers, and I watched a little of the Sixers in Orlando, but I got blacked out of TNT because I'm in the Philadelphia broadcast range, so I had to watch it on the Philly station. I just didn't get that into the American Music Awards, and I sure as heck didn't watch the re-air of Michael Jackson. But the one thing I did see was Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, he was all right.
He was good.
He was good. And actually, better than Lenny Kravitz was the way he was introduced by Janet Jackson.
Yeah, she wants a piece of him.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And she had like zest in her, and she gave him a look and like bit her teeth. And if I'm Lenny Kravitz, I leave that center last night. I'm on the first flight to Tokyo.
All over that.
Oh,
Immediatamente. Yeah.
I've never heard anything like. What did you just say?
Immediatamente.
That's French, right?
That's Spanish.
Oh, okay. What does it mean?
What would you guess? Immediatamente.
Something about a tight butt?
No.
I have no
immediately.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what Janet Jackson said about him.
Immediatamente?
I got you. Okay, yeah.
You didn't take Spanish.
No.
At yeshiva, did you?
No, we took Hebrew. I know
Okay.
it's probably a stretch at yeshiva.
Anyway, I thought Lenny Kravitz was good. And that was about all I saw. You know what I like about his band?
What's that?
To be in the band, everybody's got to have an afro.
Everybody.
They
had
all
one.
got the afro.
I actually asked Danielle at one point last night if those were real or just wigs. Because I couldn't tell. I thought Lenny's looked so big. You know what else I noticed a lot last night, Jody? A lot of female drummers.
Oh, and Lenny's is good.
Yes.
Lenny Kravitz, drummer. She can play the skins.
And Kid Rock had a female drummer last night
Really?
also. Yeah.
I didn't see
A lot
Kid.
of female drummers.
Brittany a little on the disappointing
Just
side.
terrible. And Justin Timberlake jumping up and down in his seat like, she's the next Whitney Houston. She looked good. I'll give her that. A little frumpy, though. A little dumpy from the back. I will say that.
Okay, I missed it.
Still Brittany.
Yeah.
The line of the night for me, and then we'll move on and talk about the Nets and the Knicks, was Timberlake. There was an award last night. They gave it to the best band. And it was between NSYNC, U2, and who knows, probably one of these horrendous country bands. And by the way, one more thing. You cannot have Garth Brooks sitting in the same row as Shaggy.
Why?
It just doesn't make any sense,
Why?
Because you can't have...
pal out.
I know
They can
can't.
hang.
No.
You just sat here while Don Imus interviewed Suge Knight.
Right.
If that can be done, then Garth Brooks can sit with Shaggy.
Well, no one...
Come on.
I'm not sure.
The I-Man pulled it off.
Well...
Okay.
You can't have that.
Werner will be doing sports tomorrow instead of Sid.
No, you
I'm giving
can't
the
have
I-Man
it.
credit.
No,
Sid's burying him.
Imus did a nice job.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like Suge is actually is excitable. Not like he's got a heck of a lot to say.
It's a little laid back.
Yeah. But I think in the end,
You
you
know
just
why?
can't have that. Doesn't make sense.
You know why Suge's laid back?
I have no idea.
He can be.
That's a good point.
Who's going to tell him that?
Probably why.
Yeah.
But the line of the night, the bands are up for the award, and I'm rooting for you too. I think NSYNC isn't all that bad. I got to know Chris Kirkpatrick a little bit last year at the Super Bowl, one of the band members. But I'm rooting for you too, and NSYNC wins, and they head up towards the stage, and the people in the gallery.
That's a joke.
Oh, it's a travesty.
That's my daughter's favorite group, but that's just the Stone Cold joke.
The people in the gallery start booing.
Good.
So
They should.
So Timberlake gets up on stage and looks at the people in the gallery and go, "Hey, man, quit the booing. It's not like you two's not going to win all the Grammys." That's pretty funny.
That is a good
That's
line.
a pretty good line out of Timberlake last
Give the
night.
man credit.
Yeah.
That's good.
He got the line of the night, and he got to go home with Britney. Nice
And
job out of Justin Timberlake.
And I'm sure the people backstage were absolutely thrilled with his comment.
Especially Dick Clark, who's like in the middle of a $10 million lawsuit.
Ouch.
Oh, God.
That hurts.
Yeah.
All right.
All in all, by the way, 1 to 10, Pete Diddy was awful. Even though I was sticking up for Pete Diddy and I missed the show yesterday and killing Suge Knight, he was awful. All in all, the show gets a whopping 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. I didn't watch enough of it to give it a grade, so I'll take your word for it. So, we'll probably touch back on the AMAs at some point. But first and foremost, Jets Raiders, one thing I did catch.
WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's like a mad dog on the fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em. Mike is a mad dog.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? The Mike and the Mad Dog Radio program on January 10th. Good to have you aboard on this Thursday. 718-937-6666, two-way sports talk telephone number. Take it to 6:30 with our good buddies Malusis and Carlin as we chat to you about the world of sports. A little closer now to the weekend in the NFL. Good afternoon there, Michael. How are you?
Yep, getting ready for some football. Look forward to the 4 games. Should be competitive. All games are all, competitive games. I think you can make cases for everybody, and I think you can make cases for the road teams in these games, and they should be very competitive. I don't think anybody's going to get blown out this weekend, and as badly as the Ravens play, the Dolphins are all banged up, so that even tightens that game up a little bit. So I think they're going to be very competitive games.
Mike's not there bothering me?
Yeah.
Well, Jody Mac's been kind of cool about it today.
He's an idiot.
Scazzeri's been kind of cool. It was pretty much Carlin. Carlin was the one with the big mouth.
Yeah, well.
So.
Yeah, he can't stand you anyway.
Yeah, he hates me anyway. He's very resentful towards me. Francesca told me.
Oh, he is?
Well, you know what happened is there's a bunch of young guys who work here at the place.
Right.
I'm in my 30s. Carlin's in his 30s. Mark Malusis, who runs the board for Mike and Chris, he's in his 30s.
Right.
And I guess it all
No,
turns
they're not.
out. What do you mean?
Carlin
Oh,
and Malusis are in their 20s.
right?
Both of them. Carlin's 29.
Okay, and Malusis is like 26, right?
Right.
Well, I guess it turns out that this comes from Mike, by the way. that both of these guys felt like they had the right to do the midday show.
Oh, okay.
So so there's a certain amount of resent right now coming from a lot of the cast of the Mike and the Mad Dog show towards Big Sid.
Right.
And I got to deal with that on a daily basis on it. And I think I deal with it well. I don't cause say anything or. I mean, do you feel that's the case, or you think Mike is exaggerating? Do you think
that Carlin and those guys thought they were going to get a shot at the air?
They're resentful towards me.
Well, I don't know.
But what do you think? I mean, just basically, because you have that great intuition.
I don't know what's going on. What do you think, Charles?
I have seen no overt signs of resentment.
Carlin is an on-air guy. He aspires to on-air.
What do you think, Bernard?
They've both been on the air, actually.
They've both been on the air, and sure, they don't want to see, some bull-headed moron gambling degenerate get this coveted slot.
Well, I don't get it.
They've been here breaking their butts for years, getting Mike wing things or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And you just come in.
5 minutes on the Imus program. Next thing, you got your own show.
Sit. Everything Sid does the overnight. Sid does the midday. Sid does for Mike and Mad Dog. Sit.
He goes out in the newsroom, yells.
It's like you go to the same temple as Chernoff, and you get all these great gigs, and they hate it.
How did this moron get in here?
Yeah, they do. They hate you.
They do, right?
Absolutely.
From the sports guys, and he's coming over here.
Hey, give somebody else a shot. Sid's on the overnight. He's on the midday. He's in the afternoon. Gee.
Sid. Get him out.
Oh, yeah, Imus in the morning.
All across America.
Know that I would be alive.